Hi everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In case you are new here, welcome, and if you're not, welcome back. My name is Chris and today I really wanted to show you guys a little bit more about Notion. I do talk about Notion quite a lot, but the number one thing that people tell me about Notion is that they find it quite overwhelming. And I think that's such a shame because this is just such a helpful tool. And I definitely remember what it was like being overwhelmed by Notion. So that's why I decided to create today's tutorial. This is very much of a Notion 101. And I don't want to overwhelm you at all. I want to make this super simple and easy and short. So I really hope you enjoy. Okay, so let's get started with Notion. I'm super excited about this. I've got my coffee ready, so let's do this. Now, the first thing we need to do is to create a page. Notion is very much based on having different pages within pages within pages. And we don't actually have to worry about that right now, but we do need to know how to create a new page. First and the simplest way is to go to the menu on the side. You'll see I have my menu here. And you can simply click this create a new page button and you'll create a new page. So if I click on there, I've already opened this page. It doesn't look like anything different, but you can see there it's actually added a new page. By clicking that, we get another page coming up, right? So you can see here, I'll just delete these again. Now, the other way that you can also create a new page, if you've got somewhere to start, is to again go to the main menu and you can simply click on the plus sign here. That creates another page inside of that page that you're on. So if I do that on the Life Hub, it will create a new page inside my Life Hub. If I do it here, it will create a new page here. So we can see now that I have a new page within page. So those are a couple of ways of doing it. So a couple of things. Every page has the opportunity to add an icon. So you just simply click here. I really love the paperclip. I use that all the time. Add a cover. They have lots of different nice covers. So you simply click on the cover button. You can also change the cover and then you can see the entire library or gallery that they have for nice background or cover images. If you want to change cover, you can always do that. You can also reposition, so you can drag it like this if there's certain places on the picture that you want to be focusing on that isn't as a standard, and then you simply save the position. When you are changing cover, you can also just upload. I do this all the time. I love to create a cover picture or cover photo on my Canva, and then I'll simply use this upload button here and I'll upload from my computer. If you've got a link, you can use that, or they even have a direct access to Unsplash, which is a platform, in case you don't know, with royalty-free images that you can also use as much as you want. If you want to remove the cover photo, you can also remove it by clicking this button. So you will see at the top of each page, you can add a comment. So if you want to add a comment, and when you add a comment, you can attach a file. When you click that link, you'll get an opportunity to upload directly from your computer. If you've got other people on, which I don't think this is very relevant right now, you can always tag them, and this is the submission button for when you have written your comment. So say that I want to say hey there, and then you can see that this one turns blue because now I can actually add that comment here. This is the title of each page. So say that we want to call this Notion tutorial for now. Ooh. Tutorial for now. This is what you will see. So if I now go back to my main menu, you can see that suddenly we have paperclip icon and we have the Notion tutorial title. So that comes up instead of a new page now because we've changed it. Now, what I love to do when I create a new page is I love to go up to these three dots here in the top corner. And when I click those, you can see that we can duplicate the page. We can copy the link to this page. We can move this page somewhere else. This is also where you can delete the page. But what I love to do is, first and foremost, I love to change the text to small and I love to make it full width. So I'll show you what I mean by adding a little bit of text. So if I say, hey there, this is what it looks like. Okay, so this is the text size that we have. And it will only go here. So you can see this stripe that we've got below the comments. This is the entire page. There will be nothing on the side here. If I now change to small text, you can see that the text gets a little bit smaller, and then I make it full width. you can see that this stripe is going all the way across basically. And this is my preferred way of having any page being set up. So as you can see, when we want to write something, we literally just write, okay? This is what it looks like. But say that I would like this to be a header. Then I simply come here to these 6 dots here on the side, and I can turn this into a header. So say that I would like this to be changed to a H1 or heading 1, then suddenly the text will become a lot bigger. Maybe I would like to add some color to this. Then you go to color, and you can choose to have the text be in a different color, and or you can choose to have the background be a different color. So now I just added the gray, for instance, as a background color. So this is really all up to you. If you want to move the text around, you also take these 6 dots here and you drag and drop it. So this is the text. If I want to make a text within a frame, I can do that. On Notion, that's called a call out. So I can click the call out. Sorry, I did that a bit too quickly. I can click the call out button here, and it will automatically make this into a frame. Again, I can change this frame by changing the color. Say that I would like the frame to just be white. So I'll just leave it like this. So this is called a call out. We have different things like a divider, for instance. So I can just, whenever I want to add something new, I'll simply click the plus sign here on the side and say that I would like a divider, right? We can find that here. So then I can take that and I can drag and drop that to wherever I want. So it's very simple to use in the very beginning. And there are so many different options. You can add images. Again, you just click on the plus button, and then we go down and you find an image and you upload that from your computer. You can add a text, bulleted lists, numbered lists, to-do lists, etc. What I wanted to focus on though is how to do this a little bit easier. And I wanted to show you guys databases as well, because Notion is not nearly as helpful unless you've got databases. That is really where all of the magic happens, in my opinion. So even though this is a Notion tutorial 101, that's what I want you guys to know. And that's what will really help you guys elevate your Notion game straight away from day one, literally. Okay, so what you do on Notion in order to add something new, instead of having to go to the plus sign every single time with your cursor, it's much better to simply click on a normal slash. And then you can see that the menu of what to add, it automatically pops up, which is really nice. So say that I would like to add another divider. I can then either use my cursor to find the divider, or I will simply write divider and it will come up, and I will hit the enter button and I've got another divider. Let's do that again. Say that I would like a to-do. So I write to-do and I get the to-do list coming up and I simply hit enter. So in that way, I'm actually saving lots of time because I don't use the cursor for every single thing. You can use the cursor, and in the beginning, perhaps that's the best approach. But just know that there's so many ways of simply using the slash button and searching for what you would want. If I want a bullet list, I love that I'm misspelling everything for this tutorial. I'll simply just write bullet or start writing bullet and it will come up. So that's how that works. The same thing is the case for the databases. So say that I would like to create a database. I simply go to the / and I search database. Now, the database has lots of different options, and I want to walk you guys quickly through that. So if you say that you have a database inline, it means that you're putting the database inside of this Notion tutorial page. But if you choose the next option, which is a full page, it means that I'm creating a database that's being linked to from this page. But when I click on that link, it will open a whole separate page that is just that database. I would always recommend using this option whenever you are creating a brand new database, okay? It's always best to have a completely separate page for a database, because if you are choosing the inline version, it's very easy to delete it, not on purpose. So say that I choose a database that's inline, and then I end up deleting this page in the future, the database will also be deleted. Whilst if I choose the full page, I will still have it, and I can simply move that link towards that full page to wherever I want. So in order to keep things tidy, and I would recommend keeping things as tidy as possible from the get-go, I would recommend a full page. Now you can see that we have lots of different views. I don't want to walk through that too specifically right now, but know that there's many different ways of showing that. We also have a couple of new views or new ways of showing a database. Like we have these vertical bars where you have these graphs, line graphs, and these are really beautiful and really helpful. But for now, let's just create a brand new database and we'll choose a full page. So when I choose full page, you can actually see, this is called breadcrumbs right up here on top. So you can see that the database has actually been added to the Notion tutorial. So before I do anything here even, let's just go back to Notion tutorials, and you can see that we've got that link that I talked about towards that new database. Again, I can click on that and I come back to my new database. So say that I will say my first database. That will be what I call it. Again, we can add an icon. We can add a cover image. We can add a small description if we want. As a standard, it will start out as a table. So this is a table view, like I mentioned earlier. This is the default of where it ends up, basically. So the databases are super helpful for different things, especially when it comes to tracking and organizing things. So let me just give you a couple of examples, like if you want to do some habit tracking, weight tracking, meal planning, if you want to have notes, if you want to have tasks, if you want to have a journal, all of these different things I personally have built around databases, and it makes things so much easier. And the next step then is when you are creating a different database, you can even connect these databases to each other. And that's where the real magic lies, and that's what I'll be showing you guys today. So this is my first database. Say that I would like this to be for tasks, okay? So we can add that here. Tasks, I know that this is a task. So we've got the name of the task here. Say instead of name, I want it to be task. First task. Okay, so the first thing that I want when it comes to the task is I want to have a status. That's the most important thing. So we go down to status here, and you can see as a standard, it will even have not started, in progress, and complete. So say that I say that it is not started. And what else do we need for our tasks? Well, I think it would be really nice to have a URL availability in case I need a URL to help me with these tasks. So then I click plus and I go down and I find URL. If you want to change anything here, by the way, you can always click edit property and you can change the color here. So say that I want that to be red when it's not started. Say that I want in progress to be yellow. Then we can make certain changes like that here. Now you can have different views of this database. So this is just a normal table, but if we click the view or add new view button here, the plus sign again, we have different versions. This is the entire list of different views that we can use. I wanted to show you, say for instance, we want a board in addition. Then you can see that they are automatically being moved depending on status, and you have not started, in progress, and done here. And so this is a completely different way of seeing the exact same database. So this is really, really helpful, and I recommend playing around with these different views because it will make it so much nicer. Now we have created our first database, which is for tasks, and now I would like to create a second database so I can show you how to connect these databases together. So I'll go back here, and I can either again click the plus sign, or even better, I'll do the slash and I'll start writing database. I take the full page again, and suddenly we have a second database. Now let's call this notes. And here I will add an icon. So we'll have like the headphones and whatnot. What do we need for a notes database? Well, we need a name. We probably need a tag for what it is about, or a category for what it is about. So again, I'll add a property here and I will click select. I can then simply say that this is a category. And then I edit property and then I add options here. So say that I want to be adding the option like that it is admin. Maybe it's for work. Maybe it's for home. So I'm just adding different categories in my life that I have here, and then I'll be adding the correct category. So say that it's moving notes, okay? And that is below the category of home. Say that I also want to specify what type of note it is. So I'll click select again, and I'll change it to type. And then we edit the property and we add an option and say that it's admin or, oh, sorry, enter, or maybe it is introspective, or maybe it's learning even. So these are usually the different ways that I decide on the note. So if we have that here and say moving notes, well, that's admin, isn't it? So I'll just add admin as a type here. Okay, so now that we are done with this second database, notes, I would like to see if I can connect this with my tasks. So maybe I will have a task which is around moving. Say that I have a decluttering task, which I'm about to do. Then I will have a task for that. It'd be really nice to have that connected to my moving notes. So I simply, again, I add property, come here, and then I go down to the option called relation right here. So if I click relation, you can see all of my different databases here. You can find the one that I just showed you guys, that I just created with you guys, tasks, my first database, and I will simply click there. And I will now be creating a relation between the tasks and the moving notes. I would prefer always having the two-way relation. And what that means is that this will not only show up under notes, but also under tasks. So related property name will be notes because that's the name of this database. Awesome. I'll simply say add relation. So now I can connect that first task to this note. I'll just move this so you can see the entire name. So now these two are connected to each other. And because we did a two-way relation, if I now go back to the tasks database, you can see that it also populates here automatically. If I didn't choose the two-way, it would not show up here and I would have to do both ways. But I think it's really nice that when I have the task, I also have my notes easily available here. So this is how that works. These are really the most important things for you to know when it comes to Notion. I would recommend just playing around with it. If you would like to try out Notion, I do have a link towards that in my video description here, so you can check that out. But for now, this is the very basics, the Notion 101, and I hope you found this helpful. So that was it. I hope you found that helpful. Really, like I said, the number one thing with Notion is to just sign up and have a look around. It's completely for free, so you've got nothing to lose there. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I really hope to see you in my next video. Bye!